And in the mid lane, the very hotly anticipated.
Zase jako Baus nikdy nehrál pořádně jako dlouhodobě v týmu. Třeba ten jungler má hraný už v týmu dost, takže ví, jak se hraje asi týmově, ale jako solo queue a hraní v týmu lolka je prostě úplně něco jiného. No. To jsou fakt úplně jiný hry. Jsem zvědavý, jak se s tím Baus popere. No. Vydal Raju jakýsi videjko, že Caedrel, asi dáte Caedrela, že jo, mění League of Legends. OK, jak to mění teda, ukaž.
Caedrel made a huge announcement. Off the back of yet another stellar year of success, co-streaming basically every professional league series and Worlds 2024 from the actual event, Caedrel has decided to take it up a notch by announcing the formation of his very own professional team, the Los Ratones, who he will also be coaching. And I cannot overstate how insanely hype
Jsem si založil tým. Nebo nevím, jestli to založil teda, ale bude koučovat tým prostě, jo.
This roster is. Here is just some of his announcement.
I'm starting an esports team in League of Legends. I'll be the coach, and the team name is Los Ratones. Yeah, I had a lot of options for 2024, moving into 2025. There was definitely like one big project that I wanted to do to try and contribute to the scene.
To je jako dobrý způsob, jak jako pozvednout tu solkařskou scénu, no, určitě. Protože on má jako strašnou sledovanost, když třeba sleduje LEC nebo Worlds, jo, a podobně. A jako, myslím si, že ten jeho tým bude extrémně populární a nebude mít jako problém sehnat sponzory, no. Což je asi v tom dnešním lolku docela problém, bych řekl, nevím. Nebo v tom dnešním profesionálním lolku. No, ale co ostatní týmy, no. Pozvedne to celou tu scénu, nebo jenom ten jeho tým? Těžko říct, no. To se asi teprve uvidíme.
Three avenues that I could have gone down for 2025 was one of them was the SLC, which is essentially was going to be the Streamer League Championship, where I was going to get like 8 to 10 creators from across Europe to make their own teams. Similar to the Kings League model, if you are familiar with it. Unfortunately, that was a bit too hard to pull off. One of the other avenues was an NA Challenger team, but I don't really know the region that well, and the time zones were a bit tricky, but the promotion spot, the LCS, was quite enticing. And the idea behind this was, how do we make a team that's competitive, but also really fun for you guys and good content to be able to watch? We didn't want to make a team with 5.
No, otázka je, jestli budou hrát LEC, že? Asi pravděpodobně ne.
Ex-pro players that would just win the league. I think that's a bit boring. We didn't want to make a team that was 5 content creators because they might not be competitive and lose. That's a bit boring. We wanted a team that was competitive and fun.
Following this was the unveiling of said team, which is easily the most hype part about the announcement. I'm going to do a bit of an in-depth breakdown of each player and their contributions to the team, which I think if you haven't heard of a player or don't understand how they'll fit into a competitive environment, this should provide value for you. First up in the top lane, and probably the most controversial, is the Thebausffs FFS. To begin with, we have a lot to unpack.
Team s Baussem, jo. OK, no. Ale co chce jakože hrát v tom týmu, mi řekni.
적을 처치했습니다.
Piecing out of there.
What is this?
No replay. Vole, jako bylo to dobrý, ale nemůžeme říct, že ne.
Holy fuck, dude. Go left. There it is, the Thebausffs left.
Nice.
To jsem neviděl tenhle ten play ještě od něho.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Look, I should have went down. So this
there's a vision pocket here.
Flashl ten malý kousek vize, aby ho neviděl.
Look at Baus. Fucking 5 head, man. He dodges the vision pocket.
And in reality, this is what I did.
That was really smart. Good job, Baussy.
Okay.
Yeah?
먼데 유관 김에 맛있는 거 먹고 오자.
Vyklepl až Zeuse?
나 모르겠다. 어떻게 하지? 아파요 진짜. 죽었네 이거. 왜 이렇게 세?
OK.
어디서 잘못된 거지?
A to, že ten starší Ranen z Koreji, ne? To je tak 3 roky dozadu, možná 4, nevím. Že on daleko Challengera v Koreji, no, Baus. Co v pohodě, co vím. Ale já s tím stompoval i ty korejský proplayery, no. To bylo docela zábavný sledovat, takže.
아니 이속 왜 이렇게 빨라?
As I'm sure most of
Fakt, že zničila Zeusa, no.
you know, the Baus FFS is one of the biggest names in League of Legends over the past 3 years, gathering a massive following of around 3 million followers.
Jo, on už prostě 3 roky v kuse, nebo kolik, 4, má na každém YouTube videu prostě 500 až 800 tisíc zhlédnutí, no. To jako nikdo jiný takový zhlédnutí nemá na každém videu. O něm se dá říct, že na YouTube je to největší YouTuber asi lolka, no. A na Twitchi vlastně, nevím, jaký má diváky na Twitchi, ale taky to je hodně, že? Asi.
Followers across all of his socials.
To jsem nějak neviděl, sorry, jakože, ale...
This is due mostly
Víte mi to napsat už i do chatu třeba.
to his consistently optimistic attitude, sense of humor, and diabolically unconventional gameplay style that he somehow makes work season after season. According to his wiki, Baus actually has a very minor competitive exposure, being listed as a sub for G2 in 2019. While he didn't actually play, this was on the same roster as Jankos, Perks, and Wonder. So what this tells us is his gameplay has been recognized at a competitive level since 2019. The following year, in 2020, Baus was also listed as a sub for Big, a German esports organization. But again, he never played. He has, however, played in some streamer tournaments, like the Drutut Ultimate Showdown, where he came 3rd, and in Season 1 of the NNO Cup, but they got knocked out immediately in Round 1 by Spearshot's team. There has been a lot of apprehension about Baus's listing in the top lane, but other than the overwhelming presence he'll bring to the team, I think with some tweaks, the pressure Baus's side lane play generates can definitely work in coordinated games, as we see Caedrel explain in his video.
Of course, Baus, the Inter, a lot of people are going to be like, Caedrel, Baus is going to run it down. His style is inting. How's that going to work in pro play? We're going to fine-tune a few things here and there. I don't want to change his style too much. And I think a lot of you, if you know the Baus, you'll know that he has really good mechanics. And I think that if we just kind of hone and fine-tune those skills, I think he'll be absolutely fine.
Other than that, his champion pool is also very diverse and obscure, which could lead some teams to not know how to deal with him in pick and ban. Over his career, Baus has pulled off many really amazing plays in solo queue, even as high as top 10 E West, peaking above 1300 LP and reaching Challenger in Korea, where he was recognized by big players such as Zase.
Jediný, mě přijde, že je fakt dobrý hráč, akorát něco mě nevím štve, že prostě jako legalizoval, vole, intění, no. Tím Sionem. Prostě tolik lidí si myslí, že mít 10 smrtí, vole, za 10 minut je prostě v pořádku. Že jako, to mě docela štve, no. Tím Sionem, jako, jinak jak si myslím, že je fakt dobrý, no. A nejenom na tom Sionovi, ale i na jiných čempech je dobrý. Jak mechanický, tak i makro má mega dobrý. Jenom to, že prostě takhle znormalizoval, vole, mít 1 milion smrtí za hru, no.
I also think a lot of his streaming persona is put on, because when Baus locks in and climbs on an off-stream account, he usually ends really high and with very impressive win rates. So maybe we're yet to see his
Hraje off-stream, no. Tak ono na streamu se moc klémovat nedá, no, takže vidíte.
best gameplay to come. Moving on in the jungle is a bit of a dark horse, Valia, if you pronounce that right. Now this didn't really surprise me. I've seen Valia's name around for a while now, but as recently as July the 1st, he actually hit rank 1 on the EUS server as high as 1750 LP, boasting a
To je hodně LP,
very impressive win rate.
It's just more safe to gank that lane. Well, I'm gonna do something really special. So for a fact, I know that he's taking the blue now. And Olaf is living on top. I can check from this bush when the Grump is low, because he used smite on the blue most likely. And then I can try to play.
Okay. To je chytré.
Alongside that, although
tak to bylo hodně chytrý, no. Neříkám.
he is the smallest name on the
Zapisuju si do deníčku.
roster, Valia has a lot of recent competitive experience. Since 2019, Valia has played for all of these teams on your screen in minor leagues, so I can really see him stepping up with
Tak to má docela nahraný dost, no.
the names around him, especially as jungle is the position that ties the map together the most and sets the lanes up to succeed. Probably the player most viewers will have their eyes on, as his numbers and stats set a precedent, but he still needs to perform to back it up. And in the mid lane, the very hotly anticipated
Zase jako Baus nikdy nehrál pořádně jako dlouhodobě v týmu, třeba ten jungler má hraný už v týmu dost, takže ví, jak se hraje asi týmově, ale jako solo queue a hraní v týmu lolka je prostě úplně něco jiného, no. To jsou fakt úplně jiné hry. Jsem zvědavý, jak se s tím Baus popere, no. Nikomu to ze začátku nejde, jo, v týmu. Ani mě to nešlo, nikomu to prostě nemůže jít ze startu hnedka, si myslím.
As Nemesis is purely one of the best players to ever come out of Europe, his return to competitive is definitely something fans have wanted for a long time.
Nemesis tam bude, jo. Okay.
Being recognized by even Korean professionals like Chovy and Showmaker, Nemesis's mid lane play is as solid as a rock, and he is known as one of the only players to really ever rival Caps, the most winning player in all of Europe. With experience on some of the biggest teams in the LEC, such as Fnatic and Mad Lions, Nemesis has been a streamer contracted to Gen G for the last 3 years, so this will definitely be a bit of a change of pace for him, but he doesn't really strike me as a player that folds under pressure. As his social presence has grown in his time stream for Gen G, he'll also be sure to bring a lot in terms of following and skill to the Lost Returnes. Moving on to the bot lane, we have Crownie, who boasts almost a decade of competitive experience and is very well known in the European scene. A pro veteran, Crownie has been around for basically as long as I've watched professional play and is known to have strong connections to the other players of Lost Returnes, adding even more cohesion. And to support him in a kind of double shocker news thing is Rekkles, one of the most decorated players
Ty vole, Rekkles, jo. Okay.
ever play the game. Just last week, we saw Rekkles announce his
Rekkles vyhrál Worldsečka, že vlastně, jakože, jo.
departure from World Champions T1, which was a huge shock to many, as it seemed Rekkles was really able to re-find his feet with their academy team before subbing in at the World's Finals. Here's a bit of his departure for context. So as we hear, the temptation of competing back home was too much, but now that we know he announced it with Lost Returnes in mind, it makes a lot more sense, as this is one of the biggest things to happen to a competitive league in a long time. Pretty smart move either way. The oldest and also most experienced player.
To by mohlo pozvednout trošku, no. Lolko v Evropě, minimálně. Tady ten tým. Akorát teda nevím, jako jestli jdou hrát LEC nebo nejdou. No to ještě neřekl. Jestli si tam jako koupí slot, nebo jestli, nevím.
Player in the roster, Rekkles is a European legend and really rounds out what is already a very exciting and talented roster, playing the game competitively since 2012 and has even played with mid laner Nemesis before on Fnatic in 2020. Rekkles joining will add even more exposure to the team and their following, as he was able to amass quite a fan base playing in the East, building friendships with much loved T1 members and especially Carrier.
Hotpot!
Lazy? You boring? Boring?
Are you boring?
Lazy? You are boring?
You are boring?
Can play.
Are you boring? What the fuck?
몇 회요?
2-0. Bro, is Zeus fucking fried in his head? What's he saying? 2-0 minus 3.
2-0 co to je, já vůbec nevím. Thinking of the hotel room number brain freeze.
You can come anytime.
You can come anytime, fakt, paráda.
Come every day or anything.
Za 10 sekund, jo?
Everything you want. 언제든지 와도 된다. 청두화가 vs 베를린.
Drop by whenever.
It's not 100% confirmed which league they'll start in, as Caedrel has said on stream, but I honestly don't think there is a loss involved for anyone here. On one hand, they're not really expected to perform, but if they do underperform, they'll still be
Říkal, že není jistý, kde budou, že? Kde budou hrát
involved
přesně.
for anyone here. On one hand, they're not really
No, LEC to asi nebude, že?
expected to perform, but if they do underperform, they'll still be really fun to watch. But if they do exceed expectations, they'll be in for a chance at climbing for essentially as high as they want, as so many players in their roster have done before. So on top of being nominated for Streamer of the Year, Caedrel has still found time to pull together one of the most hype things that's ever happened to League. But what are your thoughts on the roster? Let me know down below, and if you enjoy this type of League news content, be sure to
Zajímavý, no. Zajímavý, ukaž co na to odborníci v komentářích. You can see the amount of vision the ward would give if placed, so he can use that to stay out of enemy vision and move out. Já jsem si právě říkal, proč tohle co udělal, no. Co mu to jako ukázalo, kurva? Proč tohle to udělal? Baus si dal deal s rodičema, že bude streamovat 1 rok, než půjde na univerzitu, ale jelikož byl v high, ale ještě nebyl velký streamer, tak přesvědčil G2, aby ho dali jako suba k sobě. Aby rodičům mohl ukázat, že je pro player. OK, takže jestli nebyl velký streamer, ale byl dost dobrý hráč na to, aby byl sub u G2. To je docela jako hustý, no. Jakože byl dost dobrý hráč na to, aby ho tam dali. Ještě to byla 2.19 G2, jakoby nejlepší sestava, že vlastně nejúspěšnější. Vyhráli všechno, kromě Worlds, kde byli druzí, no. Koukám na Rivala kvůli novinkám, kvůli driven gameplay, no. Jako jo, no, ten driven gameplay mě tam taky vždycky jako je taky hezký na to koukat, no. Tady je nahovnovala teďka na té scéně, jakože jak jsou ty franchise, že jo, tak žádnej jakoby takovýhle tým se nemůže probojovat do LEC. Že dřív bylo zajímavý, že třeba když to ještě šlo, tak XPK si složil ten svůj tým Origin, že jo, nebo jak se jmenovali. Neměli prostě slot v LEC, neměli nic, ale složili si silný tým a s tím týmem se prostě proválčili až do LEC, jo. Prostě vyhráli tu Challenger ligu, pak hráli kvalifikaci do LEC, to vyhráli a byli tam prostě jako půl roku od toho, co začali, tak už byli pak v LEC, no. A to bylo strašně zajímavý sledovat. Dneska už nic takového není a ty týmy se tam ani tolik nesnaží, no, když mají ty místa jistý, že. Dřív jsem musel hrát o udržení, že, a teďka plážu. Chápu, že je to na vizi, no, jenom jsem to nějak jako neviděl, nevím. Uvidíme, na co z toho vzejde. Jsem zvědav, kámo.